Alright, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Perfect! Hello, and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
Jessica.
Sounds like you just said Jessica.
I am Jessica. Me. Jessica.
Yep. Well done. You got your name right.
Thank you.
Alright, what are we drinking today?
I think it's like gingerbread tea. It's black tea with ginger and cinnamon.
What is wrong with you?
And it's my Christmas tea.
Well, you've been drinking Christmas tea since, like, October, I feel like.
Since Christmas.
Just nonstop.
Maybe November. I bought 3 boxes. I have to drink that shit.
But how have you not gone through it all already?
Because I don't drink a lot of tea. So I'm lazy to get up, turn on the kettle. I'm lazy.
I am drinking same old vanilla nut creme with oat milk and honey.
Bet you like that stuff.
It makes me happy. It fills my insides with the joy of being alive.
Nice.
All right. Where did we leave off our characters, Jess?
What happened in the prologue again?
What happened in the prologue? There was that kid who was at Old Town and, like, got fucking murked by what we suspect to be a faceless man who stole his key
to get into something.
Mm-hmm.
Something in the library, I'm assuming.
Right.
No one knows these 2 characters that we're going to do today.
Yeah, that's true.
They're brand new.
Chapter 1.
The Prophet. Wow. Euron Greyjoy. So, Euron Greyjoy is drowning men in the ocean when 3 men on horses arrive.
Hold up.
Hold up!
Let's take a step back here. He's doing what now?
Drowning men.
Yes, he is
like a psycho.
Literally drowning people.
Laughing like a maniac as he holds them down. I'm just kidding.
Wait, I was like, I don't remember that part.
Aaron is described as having long black hair that grows past his waist with a long, tangly black beard, both with seaweed woven through them.
He sounds like Blackbeard.
The pirate?
Yeah.
The first 3 men he drowned swallowed the water fearlessly, but the 4th panics and struggles. It takes Euron and several of his drowned men to hold the boy under until he succumbs to the drowning.
The fuck?
Eep. He recognizes the 3 men who arrived as Spar, his son Stefarion, and another young boy, no older than 16, wearing a sigil with a black and gold war horn of the Good Brothers. So he figures it's one of Gorald, Good Brothers' sons. Why can't I say Gorald? Is it? I'm pretty sure it was Gorald, not Geralt.
No, yeah, it was like Gorold, right?
Yeah, Gorald.
Yeah, I have no idea how to say that.
Okay. And I think Gorald is one of the lords of the Iron Islands.
Okay. So, a couple things right off the bat.
Yeah.
Are you planning on addressing the drowning, or...?
No, I'm just gonna keep the readers a little bit confused. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go after the next paragraph.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain.
Okay, perfect. Secondly, is it just me, or do, like, the Greyjoys have the coolest fucking names in Westeros? Stefarion, Victarion.
Oh, yeah.
Like what?
The Iron Islands. The people of the Iron Islands. You have interesting names.
Like, those two just stand out for me as
Stefarion.
Like... These sound like epic names.
Bar. Yeah. A lot of them are fun.
A lot of characters obviously have unique names, but these ones just stand out for me as being like particularly cool. Like, not just unique, but also like, this just sounds sick.
True that. I like them too. Except for Gorold. The fuck is that? Aaron continues with the ceremony and pulls the drowned boy ashore, where the other drowned men resuscitate him. He comes back, and Aaron is relieved at the sign of the drowned god's favor. While the boy is sputtering and heaving, Aaron tells the boy to rise and says to him, "What is dead may never die." The boy coughs, but completes the ritual by saying, "But rises again, harder and stronger." Aaron lets the other drowned men welcome him into their group as he turns to the three riders. Now, the drowning, I believe, is like a baptism of this drowned god. You gotta actually fucking drown. Inhale the salty water into your lungs.
And then you become a drowned man.
Yeah. I guess they're considered like holy peoples.
So is it only men who can be drowned?
Probably.
Knowing Westeros.
Yeah, especially Aaron later in this chapter.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god, that shit infuriated me. But yeah, I was like, what the fuck kind of religious bullshit is this? And I wonder how often they come across someone who they can't resuscitate.
He like considers it like the drowned god chooses who comes back and who doesn't. And like, yeah, people definitely don't come back. There are people who don't.
But isn't it also a thing that all of the people he drowns do come back?
Aaron?
Yeah.
Ooh, you must be a skilled drowner then.
Yeah, I think that's something that he's like proud of.
Yeah. I think it is.
Yeah, I don't think anyone he drowns actually stays dead.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You must be skilled at realizing they're drowned and getting them the fuck out and resuscitated ASAP.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to keep my numbers up.
My record.
Don't want to near it. A dead kid. So he addresses the three riders. He asks if they came to be drowned. Barr says that he and his son were both drowned on their name day, but Aaron snorts. He knows that they were drowned as babies with a quick dip into a tub of seawater and thinks it's no wonder the Ironborn have become weak.
So literally a baptism.
Yeah. Now it's become a baptism. Dip in the water. He tells them that it's not a true drowning if they did not die, and asks why they are there. It is Lord Gorold's son, Gormund, who leads the trio with news that his father, Gorold, needs to speak with him. Aaron says that Lord Gorold can come to him then, but Gormund tries to insist. But Aaron would rather do God's work than to travel all the way.
Also,
Gormund says,
like, why should he?
Yeah.
If you're just gonna send your kid to be like, hey, my dad needs to talk to you. Like, excuse me?
Excuse you.
It's so, like, I don't, it's impolite. Like, send someone else to summon you. It's like, who is this Gorold?
He's a lord.
Is he Aaron's superior?
Think so.
Okay, then maybe that's allowed.
I feel like as a prophet that he is respected. And as the brother of Balon, he is respected even more. Perhaps. Gormund says that a bird has come from Pike, but he doesn't want to say more. Aaron insists. So they tell him that King Balon is dead. Aaron is shocked. He had just seen him last month, and he seemed to be in good health. They tell him that he fell from one of the bridges at Pike to his death. Aaron asks if there was a storm when it happened, and they confirm. Aaron says that it was a storm god who cast him down, who is the rival of the drowned god. He says that Balon made them great, which earned him the storm god's wrath.
Huh.
Thinking about the storm gods makes me think of the Barathians. Like, are they rivals? The Greyjoys and the Barathians?
Wait, what does that have to do with the storm god?
The Barathians...
Oh, Storm's End?
Yeah. They're known for conquering the storm at their rock on the shore.
Right.
Like storm people versus sea people.
It's probably some sort of connection. I feel like George is not that unintentional with how he names things, so...
Yeah. Aaron takes Gormon's horse and tells his drowned men to meet him at Pebbleton and rides hard to Hammerhorn, which is on Great Wick, which is the biggest of the Iron Islands. So I'll take a look on the map. There's a few of them, and it is definitely the big one.
It's northwest of Pike.
And Gorald's keep is so deep in the hardstone mines that many people from the keep live and die without ever seeing the ocean. So it's a pretty nice sized island.
Damn.
Aaron thinks of his brothers during the journey. His father, Quillon Greyjoy, I think, had 9 sons from 3 different wives, and only 4 survived to adulthood. His first wife gave him Harlan, Quinton, and Donal. His second wife gave him Balon, Euron, Victarion, Oregon, and Aaron. And his third wife gave him a sickly idiot boy named Robin, who he thinks is better to just forget about. And I'm like, oh hey, Robin? Isn't that the name of, what's his face?
John Aaron's kid.
Yeah, Lysa's kid. Who's also kind of sickly.
Well, he's called Robin in the show, but not in the book.
Oh.
In the book, he's Robert.
Oh, shit! Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Do they actually call him Robert? Or just my sweet baby?
Nope, he's called, Little Lord Robert.
Okay, okay. I do not recall.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was not interested in that kid. Enough to remember his name.
Well, when you've seen the name 1,000 times with, like, 1,000 different people, then it's like... Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Quentin and Donal died as infants, and Harlan caught them the grayscale and was given to the drowned god. Aaron thinks of himself as the least of his brothers, weak and full of sin. He had great admiration and respect for his eldest brother, Balon, who was an accomplished reaver by 15. It's after dark by the time he arrives at Hammerhorn. Gran Gormond, another of Gorald's sons, lets him in and brings him inside. Inside, Gorald's daughters are upkeeping the hall while Gorald is speaking with a maester. Aaron doesn't care for maesters. He demands that Gorald send the women and the maester away. Gorald sends his daughters away, but insists Maester Murinmuir stays.
Dude, there's so many fucking new names, I literally can't.
Have fun. I will say them out.
Dude, you need to, like, describe them each time.
Maester Murinmuir is
the Maester.
A man
Got it.
with a chain around his neck. Aaron says that he will leave then, as he will not tolerate a maester in his presence, and walks back to the door thinking that this was a huge waste of time.
What?
He's at the door when the maester yells out that Euron Crow's Eye sits on the sea stone chair. Aaron goes cold and turns back around. He hoarsely asks how that happened. Geralt says that he arrived a day after Balon's death and claimed the castle as Balon's eldest brother and has summoned the lords and captains to bend the knee. Euron is horrified because only a godly man can sit on the sea stone chair, and the Crow's Eye worships only his own pride.
Jesus, a lot of hoo-ha.
Crow's Eye, it's a pretty epic name for this guy. Compared to a lame show version.
Wait, Euron. For which guy? For Euron?
Euron, yeah. Euron Crow's Eye.
Huh. Okay.
We'll probably find out more later.
Okay.
Geralt asks if Balon said anything about his succession to him. And he had. He had wanted Asha to succeed him, but Euron will never allow a woman to lead the Ironborn.
Here we fucking go, dude.
This is a no vagina only club.
No vagina allowed.
Only pains.
Only pain. We only like being around peen. We only worship peen. We fucking get it, dude. We hear you loud and clear.
Geralt suggests Victarion, and Euron seems to agree. Geralt says he has to send a letter to Pike soon and asks for Euron's counsel. Euron says to do nothing for now and to let him pray on it. Geralt offers to let him stay the night, but Euron declines and insists on heading back to Pebbleton. So Geralt sends another of his sons, Graydon, to show him the fastest route through the hills.
Graydon? That sounds like a Pokemon.
It does. So Dawn is an hour away when they set off, so it's like a whole day so far just traveling.
Damn.
Euron dozes off while they ride, and he has a dream about his brother, Uragon. When
Uragon?
Yeah, another Pokemon.
Are you kidding me with this?
When Uri was 14, Euron took off half his hand with an axe while they were playing the knife game. Which sounds very dangerous, but to each their own.
It's literally called the knife game?
Yeah, the knife game. There's no description of it. It's just the knife game.
Didn't they also refer to it as the finger dance?
Oh, they could have.
Okay.
Maybe with knives, but like this, they're playing with an axe in this knife game.
Got it.
Took off his brother's hand. Their father and older brothers were away at war at this time, so Quellen's third wife chose to have a maester heal his hand rather than heal it the old way with fire and seawater. The maester had sewn Uri's fingers back on and gave him potions and poultices, insisting that it'll make his hand as good as new. But the hand soon corrupted and Uri took a fever. By the time the maester cut off his arm, it was too late and he died of the infection.
Okay, that's actually...
Seems like a Frankenstein shit. Sewing it back on at that time.
Ew,
it's like good as new.
Let me just rub some mud on it. It'll... Perfect. But honestly, I think that's a valid reason to hate maesters, if that was your experience.
Yeah, because that sounds... At that time, that would have been like... what's the word? It was just... monstrous? Like, to see that.
Yeah, that's horrific.
It's sickening. Oh my god.
And it's like your brother. It was his brother, right? Yeah.
That was his brother, yeah.
And it's almost more insulting as well that he was the one who hurt him. So it's like, if you're trying not to blame yourself, you're gonna blame the maester extra hard.
Ooh, yeah, and I guess the wife or stepmother.
I mean, if there's a woman involved somewhere, obviously blame her.
Obviously, Aaron. Yep. It was her dumb woman brain who came up with this idea.
Yes, a small pea brain. Small pea lady brain.
Quillan had died in the war, but Balon and his brothers came back. As punishment, Balon removed 3 of the maester's fingers and made his father's wife sew them back on. His potions and poultices worked as well for him as they did for Uri, and he died soon after.
Damn!
Quillan's third wife died soon as well in childbirth. They both did. The years after, he considers his weak and shameful years, where he partied a lot and didn't take life seriously, until his ship was taken out by Stannis Baratheon's Fury, described as being fucking huge.
Is that a ship?
Yup, it's his warship.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was really big and it split his boat in half, or his ship,
I guess. That's hardcore.
Mm-hmm. So when the drowned god gave him back his life and brought him to shore, he was captured and taken to Lannisport, where he stayed in the dungeons until the war was over. I'm assuming this war is the war against Balon and where Theon was taken. I think that
Okay.
quite a few wars going on. But this is the one with Balon.
Okay.
When the sun rises, Graydon leaves Aeron to continue on his own. Every village he passes, Aeron stops to preach and tell everyone of Balon's death and that a new king is going to rise. Some people who hear him stop what they're doing and follow Aeron down to Pebbleton. When he gets there, his drowned men are waiting for him. They had built, I think, in that time, a small shelter just above the tide line for him, and he crawls in it to pray. And he spends the whole day in there, because at night he crawls out and walks into the ocean naked until the water is over his head. And he does like some meditation, listening, prayer thing in there. And when he comes out of the ocean, he knows what must be done.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So the next morning after that, Aeron is approached by another lord called the Merlin, his guard.
Wait. A lord called the Merlin? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the Merlin.
Okay.
Yeah. He tells Aeron that he had received 2 birds. One with a letter summoning him to Pike, and the other summoning him to the 10 Towers, which is another island, I believe.
Okay.
Aeron asks who the fuck is calling him the 10 Towers, and the Merlin tells him that it's Princess Asha, that she had sent out ravens to all of her friends and is planning on taking the chair. Aeron tells him that only the drowned god decides who sits in the chair. So Aeron calls forth his school of drowned boys, men, and says to everyone that the storm god has murdered Balon, another king is to take the chair. Someone in the crowd asks who, and another suggests that Aeron should be king.
What?
Aeron says no, that it's not his path, that he is a prophet of the drowned god. Aeron tells them that they all must sail to Oldwick, another island, to hold a king's moot. Everyone is like, yeah, king's moot. And Aeron, like, mentally pats himself on the back for his big brain. Okay. And that's that chapter.
And do we know what a king's moot is?
Nay. I didn't Google it. Let me Google it.
You don't even need to. It says in the book.
Aw, fuck!
It is basically democracy. They choose their own king. Yeah!
So basically a vote?
Yeah. It's apparently how they used to do it, like, centuries ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And apparently this is what the drowned god told him when he was meditating in the ocean. To do a king's moot, choose their own damn king. So that's kind of interesting.
Very nice.
Huh?
Yeah. Ooh, the Ironborn are vote.
Well, we don't know, like, how close it actually is going to be to a true democracy.
True.
But I guess we'll see. That is kind of interesting.
Yes.
And I wonder who they're gonna pick. I mean, it kind of sounds like everyone's leaning towards Victarion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No one likes Euron.
Yeah.
There's something about him that seems to be really blasphemic. Aeron is, like, sickened at the idea of Euron leading them. And he's also a big no-no for Asha.
Because she has a badge.
Because she doesn't have a peen.
Only
They
peens.
briefly considered Theon but passed him over because he was not... Did they say that he wasn't a man anymore?
Did they say that?
There was something in there they made him like not even consider Theon.
Oh shit, I didn't even pick up on that. Let me dig.
I didn't write it down. Let me go back. You're on crow's eye.
I think I found it.
Yeah. Is it just that he's not there?
They don't even say his name. He just thinks of him as Balon's last remaining son.
Oh shit.
So he says, "The wolves have made a weakling of him, as I feared. I pray God that they killed him, so he cannot stand in Ash's way." It was the other guy who said that. It wasn't the prophet who said that.
Mm-hmm. That was Balon said that.
Yes, Balon had said that. And I guess Aaron is remembering that.
Yeah, oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
I pray to God they killed my son so don't stand in my daughters.
Yeah, he was that kind of guy.
And he was really proud of his daughter. It's unfortunate that for some reason Aaron doesn't care for Asha.
Yeah. They do actually bring up Theon a couple more times. Gorald tries to say that by rights the Seastone chair belongs to Theon or Asha if the prince is dead, but Aaron's all like, "That's Greenland law, we are Ironborn." Blah 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 blah. And
blah, 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 blah.
They start talking about how it might end up coming to war if it's like Euron's still trying to hold the throne and Victarion tries to take it or whatever. Ironborn must not spill the blood of Ironborn is something someone says, but
yeah, that's something that what's his face Aaron says.
Okay,
but it's like met with retort from the Maester that Ironborn do kill each other. And he's like, yeah, by drowning.
Yeah, because then no blood is shed. So dumb. That's like literally someone reading a line in like the Bible and trying to interpret it to mean that you can't have sex with someone of the same gender.
Yeah.
Like that's not what it says, dude.
No. That's how this shit happens, I guess.
Yeah, it's just funny. Anyway, interesting.
Very interesting.
Hey everyone, just a quick aside. We just became affiliates of Buzzsprout, which is the hosting platform we use for our podcast. If you are interested in creating your own podcast, please consider using Buzzsprout. It made it easy to get our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and dozens of other streaming platforms. They also provide you with a podcast website, detailed analytics to see how your episodes are performing, and tons of guides on how to improve your listenability. And if you follow our link in the episode description, you will get a $20 Amazon gift card when you sign up for a paid plan, and it helps support our show. Thank you. Back to the episode. Next we got Chapter 2, The Captain of Guards. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Ariel-Hota. What?
Yeah.
Oh, I just heard you go, ah! Okay. So, this chapter is from the perspective of Ariel-Hota, who is the captain of the guard for the Prince of Dorne, Prince Doran Martell.
Yeah.
Who is the brother of the late Viper of Dorne, Oberyn Martell, who we remember was fucking murked by the mountain.
Yeah. Had his freaking head crushed.
Yes. Freaking exploded like a water balloon. Okay, so the captain, Ario, our perspective character, and the prince, Doran Martell, are on the terrace watching the children in the pools and fountains below. In Dorne, I guess. When Obara Sand rolls up, she just like honks the horn of her pink Porsche a couple times and says, "Get in, bitches, we're going shopping."
Oh yeah, that sounds like her.
Yeah. So she comes fucking marching up. Ariel hears her from like a mile away. and he blocks her way because the prince does not wish to be disturbed, which he tells her. And Maester MacLeod shows up behind her as well. Obara Sand is the oldest of the sand snakes, we learn. She's almost 30, was born of an old town whore, and wears a coil whip on her hip and a round shield on her back. Arya was grateful that she left her spear outside today because he's not in the mood to have to kick her ass. He's very confident in his ability to kick her ass.
Yeah, he knows he will kill her.
Yeah.
If it has to happen.
Yeah. Obara asks if the prince knows her father is dead, and Arya explains that, yeah, he's had a bird. Obara explains that Dorne is furious and asks what Doran will do about their murdered prince. Arya again tells her the prince does not wish to be disturbed, basically politely trying to tell her to fuck off. Obara begins to threaten him, but Doran speaks up and tells Arya to let her pass. So Obara and the Maester pass and join the prince on the terrace. Prince Doran is in a chair with his gouty legs propped up.
It's described like a wheelchair, like it has wheels, I think.
Okay.
Mr. Hota pushes him around one night.
Okay. The prince's gout has made his legs swollen and painful, so I don't think he's actually capable of walking at all at this point.
No, not anymore.
Obara again says her father has been murdered, but Prince Doran responds that he was slain in single combat during a trial by battle. By law, that is no murder. He says he has, though, written to Lord Tywin, and Obara's like, oh, you wrote a letter? Like, that's a fucking joke. She wants the prince to allow her and Nym, we don't know who this is yet, to march on Old Town to sack it.
Why Old Town? What did Old Town do to you?
That's even where she's from, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think she does have like an explanation, but for some reason I didn't write it down. Let me pull it up real quick. Real quick, lag. Hang on. Hang on. Okay, so this would have to be an interpretation by us. This is how the conversation goes, because she doesn't actually say the reason for choosing Old Town. But she's like, blah, 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 let me march on Old Town. And the prince is like, how could you hope to hold Old Town? And she says, it will be enough to sack it, the wealth of Hightower. And then she's interrupted by the prince saying, is it gold you want? And she says, it's blood I want. So, the wealth of Hightower, do they hold that in Old Town?
Hightower is an old town.
Oh. So she...
Yeah, there's a Hightower lord who lives there, and that's like their city.
Okay, so it has something to do with the wealth of Old Town.
With Hightowers. Okay, I guess she wants their gold?
Well, she's asked if she wants gold, and she basically
she
says
said
no, she wants blood.
But it's something to do with the... What?
So maybe she wants the money.
And the blood.
I think she wants... Because she doesn't want to hold Old Town. She just wants to sack it. So I think she wants to take all of the cash and use it for something else. To get blood.
Yeah. Okay.
That's...
Maybe to buy a faceless man?
I mean, maybe. But that's what I'm kind of understanding here. Okay, so... The prince says that Lord Tywin will deliver the mountain's head, but Obara wants Lord Tywin's head. The mountain has always been Lord Tywin's pet, so she thinks that everything is really Lord Tywin's doing.
Lord.
The prince commands Obara to observe the children. He points out a game they're playing and says he and Oberyn used to play the same game, though not together. They had 10 years between them, but Doran would watch him like he watches the children now. He says Oberyn was fierce, even as a boy. He reminded Doran of that the day he left for King's Landing. Oberyn swore he would do it one more time, or else Doran would never have let him go. Do what one more time? I didn't really understand that.
Say it again.
Oberyn swore he would do it one more time, or else Doran would never have let him go to King's Landing.
That was it?
Yeah, what? That's what he says to Obara. And I guess she understands what this means.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just messing around in people's affairs?
Yeah, what the heck? I'm like looking through here. I want to read more of it.
Oh, okay. The prince says, I often saw him topple boys much bigger than himself. He reminded me of that the day he left for King's Landing. He swore that he would do it one more time, else I would never have let him go. So he means killing the mountain.
Yeah, he swore that he would do it.
Yeah. So that was his intention this time when he went.
Yeah. Okay.
And he swore it would be the last time. Well, it was.
It was, unfortunately.
Obara says that Doran couldn't have stopped him. The Viper went where he wanted. She starts talking about the day he came to claim her. Her mother didn't want him to take her, and said that she didn't even think Obara was Oberyn's. She had 1,000 other men. But Oberyn apparently backhanded her. What the fuck? And threw his spear at Obara's feet. And Obara chose the spear over her mother's tears, and that's how Oberyn proved she was his, apparently.
Yeah. His DNA test.
Obara's mother then drank herself to death within a year. And the way...
Nice.
Yeah. Very dark. And the way Obara speaks about her seems very hateful.
Yeah, she seems to be, like, disgusted by her mother. Like, she never cared for her.
I don't know if she never cared for her, but I imagine Oberyn kind of influenced these feelings of hers towards her mother.
He very well could have. I didn't know much about Oberyn in his short time with us.
Yeah, well, we're learning a bit more now. Obara asks the prince to let her use the spear, and he says he must sleep on it, and he will send word to her at Sunspear when he's made up his mind. Obara leaves, and the maester asks if it's prudent to allow her to return and rile up the people. Prince Doran says it isn't, but he must return to Sunspear also. He asks the maester to send word to his daughter Arianne that he will be there tomorrow. The captain apparently has missed her and thinks of her as his little princess.
Reminds me of the Onion Knight and Shireen.
The maester warns the prince that he will be seen. Basically, his enemies will find out how feeble he has become due to his gout. He will have to give audience to Princess Marcella, and her white knight Sir Aerys sends letters to the queen, so he will certainly tell them what's going on. Ariel thinks that his and Aerys's duties have been similar. Even their names sound alike. He thinks that one day they will fight, and Aerys Oakhart will die.
He's very confident.
He's very confident. Like, it's almost giving me a bad feeling.
Uh-oh.
Like, he's gonna come across something that he's, a little too overconfident.
Yeah.
And is gonna get his shit fucked up.
Yup.
The prince asks the maester to have his litter ready by first light, and Maester Caliot leaves. Doran calls the captain over and asks him if he has any siblings. Hota says he has 2 brothers and 3 sisters. He was the youngest. And he thinks to himself that he was unwanted, just another mouth to feed, and that's probably why he was sold to the bearded priests. I don't know what this organization is, but we learn very little about them in the rest of this chapter, but there's a little bit more.
Apparently they train boys to fight, that's all we know.
That's basically it. Prince Doran says he was the oldest. Mors and Olivar died in their cradles, then there was Elia and Oberyn, and now he is the last remaining. Ario Hota doesn't know what to say to that. He's basically like, dude, I was trained to kick butt, not to, like, give you therapy. We find out that he's a stranger to this land and its 7-faced god, even after being here for all these years. So, would he be from Essos then?
That's my bet.
Okay. Fun fact, I don't actually know if this is a fact, but I read this on Reddit. Apparently Essos is never referred to as Essos in the novels.
Oh,
ever.
Really?
Yeah.
What the flip?
I think the only reason we know it's called Essos is from the maps.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be paying attention to that now.
Right? Me too. Okay. After the prince goes to bed, the captain stays up in his sleeping cell sharpening his long axe. He was taught to always keep it sharp by the bearded priests. He thinks of Norvos and the day he was branded on the chest with the symbol of an axe. The next morning, Prince Doran takes his time getting ready. They are on the road at midday, with the captain walking next to Prince Doran's litter. Halfway to Sunspear, the second sand snake catches them. Lady Nym appears over a dune, mounted on a horse. Nymeria Sand has beauty and grace that Obara doesn't. Her mother was born from the noblest blood of old Volantis.
She sounded very exotic when described as appearing on her horse on the hill with the whip, blowing her hair.
I pictured like an eagle shrieking somewhere nearby. And just that would be a cool shot in a show or movie.
It would have been,
yeah, with all the dozen mounted spearmen following her, just appearing behind her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I instantly thought she was cool.
Same.
Lady Nym falls in beside the prince's litter and asks to ride with him to Sunspear, and he agrees. She asks if it's true that Gregor Clegane admitted slaying Elia and her children, and the prince admits yes, that's basically what he shouted out in the middle of the battle, and they have been promised his head. Lady Nym, though, says that she heard her father tickled him more than once during their battle, so Sir Gregor is already as good as dead, no thanks to Tywin Lannister. I'm seeing a pattern here that they're really not interested in the mountain at all.
Oh, they want Tywin.
Yeah. The prince says Obara would have him go to war and asks what Nymeria wants. Nym says she needs no mighty host, only one sister, Tyene. Obara would make Old Town their father's funeral pyre, but Nym is not so greedy. 4 lives will suffice for her. Lord Tywin's golden twins as payment for Elia's children, the old lion for Elia herself, and the little king for her father. Doran says the boy has never wronged them, but Nym says he's a bastard born of treason, incest, and adultery, if Stannis is to be believed. Apparently that means he deserves to die, even though he didn't choose his parents or manner of conception.
What's back there?
Yep.
Kids are property.
Kids, women, men were just gross.
People are pretty gross.
Jeez. The patriarchy!
Kill the bloodline!
Doran says Oberyn died in single combat, fighting in a manner that was none of his concern. That's not murder. He went beyond what Doran asked of him. He wanted justice for Elia, but he would not wait. Lady Nym says he waited 10 and 7 years. Which is 17 years, I guess?
Yeah, it is.
She says were it Doran they'd killed, her father would have led his banners north before his corpse was cold. She says she and her sisters will not wait 10 and 7 years for their vengeance, and then she rides off. Pretty cool. I like her.
Like her too.
They arrive at Sunspear by late afternoon, and it's clear immediately that the Sand Snakes have stirred the people's anger. They're shouting for war and vengeance, and throwing things, such as fruit. I think Aeryo gets hit in the toe at one point or something.
Toe?
Yeah, like his boot gets hit by
okay.
a tomato or something. Doran Martell closes his draperies and doesn't answer from his litter. They make it into the castle, and the portcullis comes down behind them. Princess Arianne is waiting to greet her father with half the court about her, including Myrcella, Baratheon, and Sir Aerys of the Kingsguard. Princess Arianne is described from Aeryo's perspective as short but curvy, like with a woman's figure. And I can't quite figure out what Aeryo's feelings are towards her.
Isn't she another niece?
Of whose?
Who are you describing? Is this another sand snake?
No, this is Princess Arianne. This is Doran's daughter.
Oh, Arianne. Okay. Yeah, it was unusual.
He seems affectionate, but I don't know if his feelings are solely protective or if there's a romantic side to it as well.
Oh.
I mean, he's
How old is the daughter? She grown?
No, she's like 13. Isn't she?
Mister, you keep your thoughts to yourself.
I don't know if she's actually that young, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Either way, it still feels odd.
Mm-hmm.
Arianne and Doran greet each other, and the captain helps the prince from his litter. Arianne tells her father that Tyene begged a private audience with him and is waiting in the throne room. So the captain helps him inside, where the third sand snake awaits them. Tyene offers an embroidery she made to the prince, which depicts Prince Oberyn mounted on a steed and smiling. She says when she finishes it, it is his to help him remember his brother. She wastes no time bringing up the same thing as the other two. She also wants vengeance for her father. Since she believes the Dornish fight best at home, she suggests waiting and bleeding the Lannisters and Tyrells when they come down on them. Doran doesn't know why they would attack, but Tyene says they will when they marry Trystane and Myrcella and pronounce her queen and lawful heir to the Iron Throne. Doran argues that only by Dornish law would she be the heir, since she's older than her brother. Tyene says when Dorne was brought into the Seven Kingdoms, it was agreed that Dornish law would always apply in Dorne. And, lo and behold, Myrcella is in Dorne.
Ooh, got him.
Ooh, loophole! Doran asks her to allow him to think on it. She says he thinks too much and gets a bit condescending with him, as the other sand snakes did, and then leaves. There's a moment when she raises her hand and the captain asks her to back off, and when she's gone, he examines the prince's hand and like sniffs it, saying it looks good and there are no scratches, and I was like, what the fuck's going on?
In for poison.
Poison?
I think.
She didn't even touch him. I don't think she even touched him.
I thought they, like, held hands or something. I think she asked for a blessing. I thought they touched.
Oh.
Yeah, then he, like, stiffs his hand.
Yeah.
And looks around. Yeah, I definitely thought he was checking for poison.
Right. Like, I guess that would make sense with the scratch. Like, if she cut him with the poison that Oberyn used.
Yeah.
But, like, what the heck?
It was weird.
That's very, like, out of nowhere.
Doing his job.
I guess. Yeah, that's totally fair. But the Sand Snakes, they seem like they wouldn't want to hurt Prince Doran. They just seem like they're annoyed by him.
For now, at least.
I mean, yeah, for now. Obviously, things could
escalate.
Devolve. Doran Martell asks the maester to bring him some milk of the poppy immediately, and then it's just him and the captain alone. He then asks Hota to find his brother's daughters, take them into custody, and confine them in the cells atop the spear tower.
He's locking them up now. It's gonna escalate.
Yep. The captain seems to get nervous and asks if he wants the little ones confined as well. The prince considers. He says Alaria's girls are too young to be a danger, but there are those who may seek to use them against him. So yes, they must also be kept safe. But first, secure Tyene, Nymeria, and Obara. The captain thinks that his little princess will mislike this. Arianne, I guess. He asks about Sorella, but Doran says they can't do much about her unless she returns to Dorne. We don't know who this is or what she's doing, but the prince says to leave her to her game for now. What the fuck?
Say where she was?
No, we just know she's not in Dorne.
Okay.
Her name is Sorella. She's a sand snake, I guess. She's a daughter of Oberyn.
Yeah.
And she's apparently playing some sort of game. I put that in quotes.
She's somewhere doing something.
Any theories?
I think I might have heard of her, and I think I might know where she is and what she's doing.
Oh.
So keep that to myself.
Okay. The captain says it will be done, but the common folk will howl. Doran says all of Dorne will, and he hopes Lord Tywin hears them in King's Landing so that he knows what a loyal friend he has in Sunspear.
Nice.
Damn! Okay, is this man just terrified of Tywin, or is he truly so honorable that he wouldn't break whatever deals he has with the Lannisters after what happened?
wonder if he just doesn't want war. Like, at all. He doesn't want to start shit.
Right.
Just wants things to be peaceful for his people.
Nothing really unjust was done.
Yeah, technically, it was fair.
Yeah.
You know, he chose to fight the mountain in this lawful battle.
Mm-hmm.
He lost. Fair is fair.
And they promised him the mountain's head, too, to make up for the old past mistakes.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they personally just want to finish Oberyn's revenge for Ilya. I think Oberyn might have put something in their brains to maybe finish what he started if he didn't survive.
Oh, probably. He probably talked about it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Like it was his thing, and now the daughters are here to finish it for him. Complete his task.
I also wonder if perhaps Oberyn did not mean to stop at Gregor Clegane.
Yeah, I highly doubt he would have stopped at Gregor Clegane. Because I think he mentioned that he had beef with Tywin a few times with Tyrion.
Yeah, they had that conversation. I think that's kind of where it first was revealed that, or maybe it wasn't revealed, but we kind of learn that he believes Tywin was the one who ordered Clegane to, like, do all that shit. So, obviously, he would not be satisfied with the mountain. He was just going, like, one peg at a time, you know?
I bet.
And that's probably why the Sand Snakes now are like, okay, the mountain's already dead, so now we want Tywin.
Yeah. I think he might have been wanting the mountain to say it was Tywin who ordered him. Maybe that's why he took so long to kill him. He was trying to get him to confess, and then
in front of everyone,
and then maybe he was going to be like, "Who ordered this?"
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
To give him grounds to take on the Lannisters.
Ooh,
you wonder if that's what happened.
Cool. Because I mean, it didn't work out, but that would have been really cool if it did.
It would have been.
Damn. They're just all sitting there, like, watching the mountain get fucking smashed up, and the mountain's suddenly like, Lord Tywin ordered me to! And then all heads turn to Tywin.
Oh, you killed a baby?
Yeah, damn. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Any last things you want to bring up? What are your takeaways from these chapters?
I am just really excited to know more of Euron Crow's Eye. I've heard that the show completely butchered him, that he's a really intimidating and very fascinating character. Like, he's really interesting.
Okay.
And so I am excited for it.
In the show, he's just kind of insane.
He's just some weird egomaniac.
He does feel very dangerous in the show, I'll give him that, but...
Because he seems unstable.
Yeah, because he's unhinged.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be interested to see how different he is.
Yeah.
But I
want to see book version.
Yeah. I'm also getting the sense we're going to have a lot of Dorne in this book.
Mm-hmm. Sand snakes.
They
also seem pretty different from the show too. In the show, Illyria Sand was doing later, and here it's just the daughters.
Oh, interesting. Right.
And some of them were her daughters, but in the books, Illyria only has young kids, and these ladies are from other women.
Right. But yeah, we have Ariohota as one of our perspective characters. Then we also have, I think, Princess Arianne is also one.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like a lot of Dorne we're gonna be getting.
It is.
I mean, I don't know how many chapters each of them has. Probably not that many, but a lot more Dorne than we're used to having. That's for sure.
Same with Iron Islands. We have Asha and Victarion as well.
I guess this is why we have, like, no Jon, no Dany, because the focus is very much on the Iron Islands and Dorne.
Well, did you remember you said we have Sir Aerys. He's
oh shit, he's also a perspective character, isn't he?
Yeah.
Aerys Oakheart.
He's what's her face's guard.
He's with Princess Rosella, yeah.
Yeah.
In Dorne.
They're in Dorne.
More fucking Dorne.
Yeah, that's a lot of Dorne.
That is a lot of Dorne. Wow.
So it's gonna be a lot of Dorne and a lot of King's Landing, I'm guessing, because of all the Jaime and Cersei chapters.
And a lot of Iron Islands. And a tiny bit of the Wall, probably.
So these ladies are going to soon find out that Tywin is dead, but they want to take out the twins.
I literally already forgot that Tywin is dead.
The boy king.
Right.
Yeah, Tywin's dead.
Damn, okay. This is like obviously very different from what we're used to. Like, we're used to having Jon and Dany and all these other characters.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm excited to see like this whole other part of Westeros.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Gonna watch what shit goes down after this mighty general dies.
Can I just say that I have so much respect for writers that really consider the consequences of these certain large-scale plot devices, I guess, that take place. And maybe that's the wrong word I'm using, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
Oberyn Martell getting killed. He could have just been a nobody who just comes in, fucks some shit up, and then disappears. And that would have been expected, almost. But no, he has a whole life and people who care about him who are now fucking pissed that he's dead. And so they're gonna fucking make their mark now.
Yeah. No, dangerous posse is on the loose.
Yeah. And I love cause and effect. It's just so satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
When something happens because of something else and you can like trace it back to where it came from. And I love that so much.
Yeah, me too.
And I guess that could be another like writing tip for writers. If you're ever like stuck in an area in your story, usually happens in the middle, happens to me a lot. Consider the cause and effect. Like, what has happened so far? Who is affected by this? And what kinds of things are they going to be doing about it?
Oh, yeah.
Guess that's it for this one, huh?
Episode 1 or 2?
This is the second Feast for Crows episode.
Oh, okay.
But we never really did like much of an intro. We just kind of did an exploration of how the last one ended. Like, do you even know what year this book came out?
No.
Right? We never even talked about it. Let's take a quick look.
Does it even say?
Copyright 2005.
Nice. 714.
So this book has the biggest gap between books so far.
What do you mean?
I mean, Game of Thrones came out in what, 96? And then Clash of Kings came out in 98. Storm of Swords came out in 2000.
Okay.
So that's 2 years apart for each one of those. This one, 5 years after.
Oof. He's starting to struggle now. Like, the story's gotten too big. It's out of my hands.
Yeah, he decided to explore, like, other parts of the story. The ripple effects.
Yeah.
And
he let the characters loose.
And it took a while, which is fair.
I mean, it's so far it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. And I was scared to be without, like, some of our old faithfuls, you know?
Yeah, I was really sad to not see Dany.
Mm-hmm.
But this story is going places.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast at TIGBAB Podcast or follow us individually. My handle is Crimby and Jess's is just.egan24. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search TIGBAB Podcast or Tea is Good, Books Are Better, and we will show up there. Also, please subscribe to our good friend Bahrami on YouTube. He's the one who made our jingle, which you heard at the start of the episode, and he makes some really cool music. That's Bahram. You can also find him on Spotify as Bahrambient. That's Bahrambient. And please check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/teaisgoodbooksarebetter. We have a few different tea-themed tiers with fun rewards, including outtakes, BTS stuff, and mini episodes in which we force our brother to watch Game of Thrones, which he absolutely hates. So it makes for some fun discussions/arguments. Finally, if you would be willing to share the podcast with your family and your friends, it would be a huge help to us to grow the podcast. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. We'll see you next time for some Cersei. Ooh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Ooh, what's she up to? Ooh.
We know what she's up to. Who's after Cersei?
I don't even know.
He doesn't even know. Brienne.
Oh, cool. Sick. I'm excited for that. All right, we'll see you for that next time. Bye-bye. Say bye. Say bye.
Oh my god, third time's the charm. Bye.
I still, like, was partly cut out. Try one more time.
Bye.
Try when I'm not talking over you.
Bye.
Oh my god.
Adios.
I'm gonna keep that whole thing in.
Okay. My pain.